Hey again, it's me from the Welcome to Wonderland podcast. This Thanksgiving, make a statement with ZJZ Designs' brand new Thanksgiving Day prints. Whether you're hosting the family feast or just want to show your festive spirit, they've got the perfect design to make your holiday memorable. Introducing Tommy the Turkey. He's fun, he's festive, and he's the star of their latest collection. From playful tees to cozy long sleeves, Tommy will keep you looking stylish as you carve the turkey or sit back and enjoy the pie. And that's not all. Their Thanksgiving prints feature a variety of unique designs that capture the warmth and joy of the season, perfect for yourself or as a gift for a loved one. Shop now at zjzdesigns.com and bring a little extra cheer to your Thanksgiving.
Hey y'all, it's Barrett from the All About Nothing podcast. Winter's coming, but that doesn't mean you've got to slow down.
Nope, because Everplay Sports and Social has their winter leagues open for registration right now.
That's right. Starting Sundays, you can get in on softball at TS Martin Park.
Mondays are packed. You've got pickleball at the Casey Pickleball Complex, softball again at TS Martin Park, indoor volleyball at the Tri-City Leisure Center, and turf soccer at the Recreation Athletics.
Tuesdays, that's when it really heats up. You can play Super Rec kickball at M Avenue Park, sand volleyball at Pollywogs, indoor volleyball at Tri-City Leisure Center, and bowling at Lucky Strike in Casey.
Wednesdays are loaded too. Soccer at B Avenue Park and Bray Park Field, hardball softball at TS Martin Park, dodgeball at Drew Wellness Center, and of course, kickball at M Avenue Park.
And wrapping up the week on Thursdays, you've got even more kickball at M Avenue Park and B Avenue Park.
So whether you're into kicking, spiking, bowling, or just hanging out, there's something for everyone.
Almost forgot. Special one-night events.
Monday, November 10th, mix and match turf soccer at Recreation.
Pick up basketball Monday, November 17th at Drew Wellness Center.
And mix and match indoor volleyball at Tri-City Leisure Center, Tuesday, November 18th.
Registration for Everplay's Winter Leagues is open now, but you have to sign up before November 16th.
Do not wait. Teams fill up fast.
Go to everplaysocial.com. That's everplaysocial.com to join a league, meet new people, and make this winter one to remember.
So, dodgeball or bowling?
I'm thinking both. Got to balance the cardio and the nachos. Everplay Sports and Social. Play more, hang out more, live more.
The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content
that isn't appropriate for some.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, Nothingers, to the All About Nothing podcast. This is episode number 281. I am Barrett Gruber. Going to be joined by Jen and Cam from our True Crime podcast here in just a minute. Before that, got a couple announcements and run through our regular spiel. Please subscribe and share the show. That's how we get new listeners. Also, if you could, please consider supporting the show financially by visiting theallaboutnothing.com and becoming an official member, probably calling yourself a true nothinger. We'll have more details on that at the end of the show. If you can't do that, please give us a 5-star review, a like, and follow us across social media. You can find all of our links on theallaboutnothing.com. Want to remind everyone, coming up next week, November 19th, Soul House Sessions with Preach Jacobs. This is the fourth one. It's going to be at the Koger Center for the Arts, featuring a conversation with Delana DeMoran. Vinyl is also going to be spun by Preach, so check that out. Tickets available at Eventbrite. You can check the show notes or follow Preach on Instagram at Preach Jacobs. Want to remind everyone also, coming up November 18th at 2 p.m., the Senate Bill 323. This is the total abortion ban that South Carolina is trying to push through. Basically, no outliers for any potential abortions as well. This is the one that wants to send women to jail for having an abortion. So the hearing is going to be at the Gressett Building, room 308, just east of the State House. All right, we're going to get to it. Today, I'm joined by two incredible voices of the true crime podcast world, Jennifer Flanders and Camilla Anderson, hosts of our True Crime podcast. Cam and Jen have been best friends since 6th grade. And since launching their show in 2018, they've built a loyal audience by telling lesser-known true crime stories with empathy, humor, and heart. And before we get started, your last episode that I listened to, you both celebrated your birthday since then, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The 29 again.
Belated birthdays.
Well,
Why, thank you.
I don't acknowledge my birthday most of the time. I rely on other people to do that and for then me to roll my eyes at them.
Jen does
older,
not
let
get-
me forget. So there's that.
She's older than I am.
barely.
By days, barely, but we're getting into the age where it's bothersome to be older than everything. So I have to make the digs.
For me, I feel my birthdays here and then in my knees and in my back.
Every day.
We're going to talk briefly about the show and the journey. And then they're going to take us into a story that hits close to home here in South Carolina, the murder of Professor Jennifer Wilson. So Welcome, Jen and Cam. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us. We appreciate the invite.
I am please. It's an honor because you guys have an outstanding show. And since I was introduced to it by Lori, so shout out to Lori King,
Yay, Lori.
Love you, Lori.
it has every week, as soon as that episode pops in, I listen to it. In fact, the last episode that I listened to, ironically, or maybe not ironically, but one of the characters in that story was named Barrett.
Yeah.
My
baby.
nickname was Bear.
Bear.
So
Really?
cute. I
Just
think
like
that's so
baby
cute.
Barrett? Yeah, that was a tough one. Like I
Yeah.
had texted you before, the ones with children really get me. And I'm usually pretty good, but I think out of the 400 plus episodes that we did, there's been 3 that I've actually teared up and had. And at one point, the very first one, Nico, our editor's like, should I cut that out? And Camille's like, no, just leave it in. Just leave it in. So it's not fake. It's
yeah.
Sometimes it just depends on what's going on in your life, too. When you're,
Right.
you've read that a million times, you've worked with it for weeks, and then you get there and it just hits you, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
No,
it's bad.
we will do episodes where I can't think of what we talked about, but I will tear up. Usually it's about something that's happened that I relate to in my life, but
Right.
it's that happens occasionally, and I just ask that people put up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
I
can't
mean,
help it.
the case was little Barrett was an infant and he was 2 days from being born when his
Yeah.
mother was killed. And I was trying to explain this like just yesterday to my husband. And it's like, I couldn't even get it out. And he's like, I get it.
Yep.
I totally understand. It's hard. A lot of these are really hard to go through.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because when we first started, we're just like, it was not fun, but it was like a hobby. But now the more we get into it, it's just like, these are real people, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not entertainment. It's the worst day in somebody's life
Yeah.
or
Well,
the
let's-
last day of somebody's life. So
Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
How did our true crime podcast come to be? What made the two of you want to start telling these kind of stories?
it was Cam's idea. Take it, Cam.
Well, Jen, one day, it was a Sunday, and she's like, hey, do you know they have a convention for true crime? And I'm like, really? Where is it? And so she sent me the thing, and it wasn't even an hour later. I was like, hey, I bought us $800 tickets, and we're going. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're going. So we went, and then on the way down there, we listened to podcasts because this was 2018, and we're old, so we're late to the game, of course. And down there, I'm like, we could do this. We could do this. We got this. So the first year, we're like, yeah, let's do this. And then we didn't do anything. Well, the next year we went on the way home, bought the equipment, had it shipped to Jen's house, and that was terrible. We didn't know
The
what we were
equipment was
doing.
horrible.
We didn't know where to plug it in. It was terrible. So it's been, shall I say, a learning curve, to say the least. But
The audio, we're like, oh, how hard can this be? Well, you know what? It's really freaking hard. We have different volumes of our speaking voices, so we couldn't get those evened out. It would be, Camille screaming,
I'm loud.
sounding loud, and then mine, I'm softer, and it was horrible. And I think it was 6 months, and my husband, every time it was my turn to edit, I would cry because I just couldn't get it done. And finally, my husband's like, I don't care, find an editor. I'll pay for it. Find an editor. And about the same time, the man, Nico, who made our intro and outro music and all that kind of stuff, he popped on Twitter and said, hey, I'm taking editing jobs. Anybody interested? And I pounced. And he's been our savior ever since.
That's awesome. So I read that you all have been friends since 6th grade. So how does that friendship help when you're diving into such heavy subject matter?
I don't.
I think we know each other's secrets, all the good and all the bad. So sometimes,
We're talking bribery type secrets.
yeah,
so.
and I mean, there's been a time or two, we're not going to lie, where we would get mad at each other, and I'm like, we're not doing this right now. Click, right?
Mm.
And you hang up.
We're like sisters more.
We are like sisters. So, but I think all of that, if you listen to us, the chemist, we know what each other is going to say. And that's hard because we are both, how shall I say this, one-uppers. So she'll cut me off, I'll cut her off. And that was a hard thing to learn see right there. It was a hard thing to learn at the beginning, to keep your mouth shut. because you just get excited too about talking and things. So we've kind of, I think, almost going into 8 years, we've got it figured out to kind of keep our mouth shut sometimes.
We are the couple that knows what each other's thinking without actually having to say something, because we can have an entire conversation with, well, whatever.
When we
whatever.
first-
that
When
one thing.
we first started, Jennifer's husband's tell
Oh,
everybody.
yeah. When we first started and I told my husband that we were going to do a podcast, he's like, what are you going to call it? Whatever. Because we can have, he has heard us speak in real life and we're like, hey, and I'll hear, hey, Cam, you know that one thing? And she's like, oh, the one with the hook? Yeah. Yeah. Did you see? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, whatever, man. I mean, can you believe it?
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I mean,
And we know-
entire conversation, and we
know what each other's saying. I even
Right.
had a review that came after me because I say whatever. And then I went and I told them why. And it's my whatever is, it can be the F word, it can be sadness, it can be this killer's doing this. And, he got away with it, whatever. Or they came home and everybody was so happy. It was Christmas, but there was that one person there and, whatever. And so then they're like, oh, okay, I get it. I go, otherwise I'd be saying bad words and things like that all the time.
Yeah. And that's why we mostly work off script, because if I didn't, not only would I forget half the details, I would be saying, that one thing, that the one with the hook. That's
Our editor did come to us and he's like, listen, you got to, because we'll start talking. We haven't talked, and we'll be like, so yesterday my kid, and that's in the middle of the episode. And he's like, you really got to trim that out.
Yeah.
I can't figure that out. And so then
I think the one thing that really made him keep us in line was we were talking and Camille mentioned somebody's name. I think it was like Lisa. And she goes, hey, that reminds me. Do you remember that girl from high school? We graduated in 1988. I'm like, yeah. And then we'd like go, well, I read on Facebook. And then we'd like go on this tangent and gossip about people from high school, right? And then 15 minutes later, we'd have to bring it back. And so in the meantime, through the whole thing, Nico has to sit there and listen to us gab so he knows.
Nico knows all the dirt too, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, he knows.
Poor guy. So for someone who hasn't heard the show yet, how would you describe your style? And what sets our true crime podcast apart from others? Because if you do a search for true crime on podcasts, you're going to find probably 15 million podcasts.
I think it's the most popular genre right now.
I have friends that had a podcast. They ran for 2 or 3 years. They did a good job. It was entertaining and it was sort of the same sort of style, but theirs dived heavily into some of the more historic true crimes and murders and things like Anne Boleyn and the Putty Cave, which wasn't really a crime, I don't think, but it was just mysterious and things like that. So what sets you all apart?
Well, let me just say, because we've been friends forever, and this is good or bad, we're both so stubborn. Neither of us will quit. So, and that's 8 years. I cannot tell you how many times we've been close to quitting, got mad at each other, got mad at things, and we will not quit just because. And we'd see like these podcasts start up here and we're like, oh, they're really good. And then 4 months later, we're like,
pod fade.
RIP, see ya.
It's
because
hard. It's not easy. There's lots of research goes into this. And
I think people think it's really easy, and believe me, Barrett, if you get something wrong, there's going to be 20 people that are in line to tell you that you pronounced it wrong. That's not right. You had the wrong time. Jen she said 6 a.m. instead of 6 p.m. Oh, somebody was there to correct her. And it's like, okay, that's the takeaway from 1 hour. Okay. All right.
I think people like us too because we are ourselves. I mean, we don't put on any airs. If we make a mistake, we'll say, "Oh God, that was stupid," or you know what I mean. We're natural. Like we actually took a trip to the UK with a bunch of listeners, right? And people were like, "I'm amazed. You guys are really like you sound on TV, or not TV, but on the podcast." And I'm like, "There's no airs to put on. I mean, we are who we are. We can't even fake." Being nice half the time. I can fake being nice.
Not to each other. We're always nice to other people, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I think our personalities, whether you like them or not, come through.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that I pick up on the most isn't because if you listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, what you hear is someone recounting a story of something that happened from the God view, because they have all of the information. They know the end of it. They have the information from the beginning of it because of the investigation and witnesses and things like that. But the way that you all do it, it feels more like we're traveling through that story at the same time that it's taking place. And then the amount of empathy that you all show in the recounting of what happened is one of the things I think that I feel the most. And I have gotten emotionally attached to the victims in your stories. Like, how do you separate yourselves from that? Or do you even have success at that?
I mean, I cry at some of them, so that's difficult.
I think, okay, I know we talked about bad reviews. I read them and does not, but somebody made a comment about one of our episodes and how it's just a money grab or whatever. And, I guess the things in podcasting has changed over all these years that we're doing it. But we recorded, was that yesterday? It seems like forever ago. But
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. I was like, this is a young kid. He was 23 and it was a racial murder. And I'm like, this happened in 1983. I don't want to make money. But I do believe Timothy Coggins needs to be recognized that this was 1983. We were a freshman in high school. And naively, I didn't realize that this was going on in the South. And I'm sure it still is. And I'm naive and stupid. But so it's, to me, it's, I try to find stories. And we both have our little pets, I guess, that we do. But mine, I like a little something different. Very much the psychology of it, like, holy, what did they do? Or that kind of thing. I guess getting into people's minds and why do you do that? Like some of the darkest stuff that we've covered, you can't even make up. Like it couldn't even be a scary movie. It's beyond depraved.
Yeah, so, and just to confirm, there were 2 lynchings in Mississippi just last month.
Just recently. Yep. We bring that. Jen brings that up at the end of that.
Just in Alabama, Delta University, I believe it was.
Yep.
Trey, exactly. I forgot his last name. Horrible at that. And I think when we grew up with unsolved mysteries. We worked at a bookstore, so like true crime, you would get a new true crime book every day. I mean, when JonBenet Ramsey was murdered, within 2 days, there was a brand new book out. I mean, there was no information. It was, I can't say, it was like this thick, right? The book was this thick. So we grew up and it was all sensationalized and it was all salacious and all this kind of stuff. Well, now the industry, luckily, thankfully, has kind of changed where it's now victim centered and not, the 27th, actually tomorrow, we are starting a new thing. Our friend Dawn from Method and Madness came on the show and she's an advocate, like trained advocate. She has a criminal justice background. She came on to discuss a case that she doesn't feel is getting enough
attention.
And it's easily solved, but the police say they don't have enough money. I mean, they don't have a homicide detective. It's a 45,000 town. I mean, 45,000 people town.
She pretty much says they know who did it, but they just can't. And there's so many cases we cover too that you got to have the evidence.
And DNA was sent in 3 or 4 years ago, and there's still nothing on it. I mean, the girl left her home, went to Taco Bell, and never came back. Was found in a park close to the house. And I mean, and how desensitized the mother, 2 boys found her because it was in a park. The mother took pictures and put it all over social media. Took pictures of the body. I mean, it was horrible.
The mother of the boys, not the mother of the victim,
the mother of the boys, not the mother of victims. Yeah. But and then the mother. I mean, it's just I don't know. Things need to change on that situation because it's not a game. It's somebody's life.
And obviously, I haven't listened to all 400 plus episodes.
Why
that you all
not,
have done.
Barrett? Loser.
You didn't do your homework. I'm getting off here. Forget it.
Whatever. Don't you know who we are, Barrett?
We're big. We're so big.
How often do you all come across investigations where it seems like it doesn't go in the direction it needs to because of the motivation of law enforcement? Do you all ever see some of that?
More than you think. That's why, what?
Well, this Coggins was a black man whose life was taken by some white men, And when the black detective started to investigate it, this was in 1983.
You're going to traffic.
Yeah, we're going to take you to traffic. And nothing was ever done with it.
Yeah.
They just pushed it under the rug until
So
like, 35 years?
34
Yeah.
years later.
Gosh.
Right?
Yeah. And it's all some of these police, it's like the big boys club, and they're protecting whoever, or they don't feel that maybe the person's a drug user, maybe it's a sex worker, throwaway people, they think they're throwaway people. They're still somebody's kid.
Yeah.
But
And
Jen did a case, and this still, sometimes I try to keep my comments to myself, but I couldn't help it. And I can't remember, Jen, but it was the kid that was hanging from a tree, and he was up in the tree for weeks before anybody noticed in town.
It was in Illinois.
And they said it was a
suicide.
Unalived himself, right? What? Like his pants were down around because his body had decomposed, that his clothes were falling off of him. Nobody thought to look up. This was like in the town square.
It was in a tree on a common pathway. So,
and we're like, huge tree. He climbed all the way up there, shimmied out to a branch, hooked himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened in Illinois.
Well, and that's similar to what happened in Mississippi. That one of the initial police report came out that didn't include the fact that the Delta University student was hanging from a tree. Initially, it was one of them. Initially, they indicated that one of them was they'd found them dead in their bed. So the police report was completely wrong, despite the fact that witnesses had actually been and seen him hanging, had reported that he was hanging. So yeah, I grew up in Atlanta. So the John Benet Ramsey case was huge when it happened. And it went on.
Still is.
Oh yeah, it went on for like it was the breaking news story every single time, because I think initially they said that somebody broke into the house and had done heinous acts to her, and I don't know where the investigation is now, but I think I worked in radio after that had happened, and one of the things that we had always talked about, we was always like, it's got to be the dad. The dad has to have been the one that did it. Like that was we had all.
Well, but that's not far from the truth. I mean, the percentage of it being somebody you know and somebody you're close to is like 99%. A stranger murder is so rare. It's less than 1%. I mean, it's usually the family or friends. That's why when the police investigate, they go to the family first. And you're right. It's usually the dad. It's usually
the partner
or partner. Yeah.
Awful.
But I mean, we don't know who it is, but
totally solvable case though. Still not solved.
But the police totally screwed up the investigation.
Well, and that's what happens when you have a family with a lot of money, and then they're revered even by the police officers who let the door just open to the neighbors and everybody tromping in there. Yep.
I worked with people at the radio station that confessed that they know the Ramseys. There was 1 degree of separation between me and that family. So it was, shocking. Wow. The fact that the Atlanta PD still, they even to this day have not resolved that.
I think and I don't know how to say this nicely, I think they're waiting for Mr. Ramsey to pass on. And then I think,
yeah, for sure.
I think things will happen.
I don't know, but they do have the DNA from somebody that's not in the family. I mean, and that could be, I don't know. It needs to be tested, but it's weird when you have things and you have the DNA and they don't want it tested. The police won't test it. And I understand it might be a very small piece of DNA and they don't want to like ruin it. They want to wait till like the right time when
technology comes along too. It gets better. Right.
But I mean, then you risk, look how long ago it was. You risk that person dying and nobody seeing justice at all.
Yeah. I did want to ask a follow-up question about the baby Barrett case. The mother, her name is Michelle.
No, Melissa.
Well, she obviously, the night that she died and her strange whatever attachment, the gentleman, the man that's in jail, I almost call him a gentleman.
Person.
So the evidence had shown that he strangled her, that he had kicked her, clearly in the ribs, but there was also an indication that he had raped her that night as well. Was did that investigation lead to him raping her post-mortem, or was it when she was still alive?
It never said.
Okay. Because that was the part at which I felt like his sickness really came through, that he went from this one extreme act to the other extreme act. And I wasn't sure what happened first.
I mean, he could have strangled her while he was raping her. Like they could have gotten in a fight because he didn't want a child whatsoever. And it's so sad because she gave him a little backstory. These two were like friends with benefits. Melissa ended up pregnant. The father didn't want the baby.
Yeah.
He tried to get her. He wanted her to abort the baby. She wouldn't do it. But she gave him free and clear, like, you do not have to be any part of this child. He is, you don't even have to be on the birth certificate. You're completely free. But he didn't want the child to be at all.
Yeah.
Like nothing. So he killed her. He always said he had a deadline. And the deadline was, the baby being
reaches
born.
a certain age. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think my personal thing is he probably raped her and strangled her at the same time.
Okay.
That's what I think, but I can't be guaranteed. Can't guarantee that.
That's one of those things that, because of my tendency to be extremely observant, it makes me uncomfortable even like out in public, like in crime, not in crime.
You got a secret, Barrett?
Yeah.
Lots of them, but if they ever show up on your true crime podcast, I'll come on and talk about what I did. I will fully admit it.
We get the exclusive.
The exclusive for sure. But that's one of those things that I pick up on, just being observant and watching people as they do things out in public. And I always thought that I would have been a really good forensic investigator, because like even with like car crashes or collisions and things like that, I can usually tell you not exactly, but based on my observation, I can tell you what happened. Like I can tell you who ran the light, who wasn't paying attention to the signs, wasn't paying attention, whatever. And I've always found that work to be extremely interesting. I think with a lot of the forensic investigators, though, they work so closely with the DA and things like that sometimes those crimes get manipulated to the benefit of like the Ramseys.
Mm-hmm. No,
so.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Well, listen, you guys are here to do a job. I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You asked us to cover a case of
please.
Jennifer Wilson, and you said your ex-wife had her as a professor. Is that the right one?
Correct. Yeah. Back in 2004, 2005, Professor Wilson was my ex-wife's professor at the University of South Carolina. I met Jennifer several times. Well, I met her, and then we had several interactions over the course of the couple years that my ex-wife was still in school. And I don't remember that we communicated much outside of those events, but we became Facebook friends, and I'm still friends with her in memoriam Facebook page. I think I sent Jen, I sent you a screenshot of that. But yeah, Jennifer Wilson, she was incredibly intelligent, very sweet, very pretty.
She sounded amazing.
Yeah. Very accomplished.
Like, seriously, amazing. Like, if my daughters achieved half of what she did.
She traveled. So much travel, like just all over Asia and Europe. Like every time I remember pulling up anything on her Facebook, like if it popped up on Facebook, and this is 15 years ago, anytime you saw anything, it was like she was hanging out with the monks, or she was feeding children in Thailand or something. It was always just something huge that she was doing. So I think that she was an amazing individual just based on what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, she sounds amazing. That's just researching her and all that kind of stuff. It's a shame what happened. Before we start, I want to let everybody know how we're doing it today is not how we do it on the podcast. Usually one of us will present the case to the other, and the other one has no idea what we're doing, like at all, no clue. And actually it's gotten to the point where we have to send messages. It's like, okay, for the next month or two, these are the cases I'm covering. So we don't want to write the same case, right? But that would be embarrassing.
Sadly, here's where I say that there's so much of this. We've never, accidentally done the same thing. I always have people say, "Aren't you running out of kids?" No, there's
never run out of kids.
No, which is sad.
Yeah.
Truly.
And also, I have to read everything. So if you see me looking off here, it's because I'm reading it, because I will forget everything and I'll say, whatever. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
And this is weird because normally before we do it, we have to clap so the audio lines up.
Oh, y'all line up. Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Could we just we'll just do it here. Oh, that was the wrong sounder.
All right. So you ready? I'll start off. All right. Located in the state capital, Columbia, University of South Carolina, or USC. Go Gamecocks, right?
Woo-hoo!
Is it Gamecocks? Did I get that right? You don't know?
You got it right. Go Cox.
Go Cox.
Go Cox, yeah.
Well, I like that.
I'm a lady. So
I'm not.
The university has come a very long way since it was first started, and it was called the South Carolina College, 1801. Built and maintained almost entirely by slave labor. As it slowly grew in its early years, the USC student body at the beginning consisted of as few as 9 students. I mean, that's
insane to think of where it is
insane.
now.
The likelihood is that's how many of them are actually studying today.
Today,
9. 45,000 students.
Working hard.
Yeah,
would be
hard.
9.
Yeah, right. And at the time, it took place in just one building, and that building housed the administrative office, the residence hall, and the chapel. Now, these days, the USC has an intense focus on research. It earned over $309 million in awards in 2024. And more than 200 years after its creation, student enrollment has swelled to over 34,000, which is impressive. And yet the reputation of its origins in slavery perhaps still kind of lingers because, according to the U.S. Department of Education, a large majority of the students are white and economically affluent.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dr. Jennifer Lee Wilson entered the world of USC in 2005. Obviously, very smart. USC is very prestigious. Described by colleagues as a bright star and a brilliant person, Jennifer taught in the institution and teacher education department, where she became tenured only after 5 years with the university, which is pretty amazing. She boasted a doctorate in literacy from the University of Missouri.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
Missouri.
M-I-Z.
Z-O-U.
There you go.
Woo! We don't know sports, but this is all we like
there.
to cheer.
Wait,
sports ball is...
They play with the ball or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sports ball. Woo!
But boasting was the last thing Jennifer would do. Across the board, Jennifer was admired and adored by her colleagues, just like Barrett, coworkers, and students for her dedication to teaching and promoting excellence in education for children. She cared deeply about children's learning and worked close to home at middle schools in the heart of South Carolina, as well as in other countries such as Norway, Tanzania, and China.
Yeah.
In fact, she was a Fulbright student. She was a Fulbright scholar, I should say, which is pretty impressive. I have some stuff here. I think only 20% of the people that apply for it in the United States gets those scholarships.
It's amazing.
Clearly,
impressive.
she was a smarty pants.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the 6 years of work, she won 7 grants for USC, totaling nearly $600,000. But far more valuable to her was the impact that she had on everyone who worked with her. This was particularly recognized in 2010 when she received a Distinguished Early Career Teaching Award. That early, really, from the university. That's, amazing.
She's, seriously, every bit of what you said is
now I feel
true. Like she's...
Like, I got to get out and do more. You know what I mean?
I know. She's like overachiever, making us look bad. Yeah.
I will say as well, like, and you commented a little bit on it, but absolutely just adored. Can't imagine a situation where someone would have anything cross to say about her. She was just extremely kind. Like, I'm trying to remember.
And accomplished. And
yeah.
She wouldn't brag.
If you're that bright, how do I say this? And she's compassionate and she's sweet, you know?
And she's cute. I mean, she's the full package, right? I mean, she's what everybody wants to be, right? People want to do it, but she did it. So Jennifer's life wasn't just her work, though. Her mother recalled that as a child that she liked to climb trees. And one of her favorite things to do was climb her favorite tree.
Me too.
With her favorite book and just sit in the tree and read for hours. And she enjoyed all the time she spent in the classroom, even as a kid. So her affinity for learning was clear right from the start. And as an adult, she loved to ski and she loved yoga classes, which is pretty cool. She was very active, she was hardworking, and she was brilliant. So when she was awarded tenure and a raise that came with it in 2010, I believe, Jennifer must have felt that everything was finally coming together, and she was only 35 years old. I mean, all this before 35, that's amazing. I'm 50-something years old, and I still don't have my act together.
Well, I'm just
at
feeling
all.
I'm feeling guilty because I was going to Netflix all day today, and this one.
I was going to scroll through TikTok. And what Jennifer decided she wanted to do next was to find love. I mean, that is what's next. She conquered education. She conquered the job. She just needs to find love. And I mean, she had dated here and there before, but nothing really clicked, right? Past relationships never worked out. But she still was friends with the people that she was in relationships with. It always ended up in good terms. And with the busy life she led, it was really hard to meet people. And right now, it's hard to meet people. And she did what people do now. She went to the internet.
Not good.
Well, I met my husband on the internet. So Cam's had different dating experience on the internet, but
Cesspool comes to mind, but that's another story.
lower end gene pool type things. Yeah.
Do you want to give any shout outs to any specific apps? Is that
They're all the same. They're all the same.
I feel like
I
that's
think
true.
Leslie from Saturday Night Live said that they needed to invent one which was called This Is What's Left. And that's
Leslie Jones's joke,
yes,
right?
Leslie Jones, yeah.
Yes.
Being one of the greatest
I love her.
comedians that's ever
I
been
love
on
her.
Saturday Night Live.
Her and Bill Hader are like my two favorites.
absolutely.
love them.
I know. See, and this is how Jen and I get in trouble, and this is where Nico comes in. But side note, Leslie Jones with Peter Dinklage when they did Naked and Afraid. Seriously, the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
And I'm surprised she's not more famous. I mean, she's famous, but she's not like
I just love
shooting
her.
star famous. You know what I mean?
I suspect that a lot of it has to do with the fact I think she does what she wants.
Good.
I think she's comfortable, and I think that she does what she wants when she wants to. Because SNL will pull her in sometimes. You'll
Daily
see
Show
her.
did
Yeah,
a bit with her.
yeah. So anyway,
I love her.
So anyway, sadly, while she was looking for love, she ultimately found the person who would end her life.
Now, at first, Hank Hawes seemed like the perfect match for Jennifer. A year older than her, Hawes was articulate, intelligent, and charming, as was she. He drove a flashy $70,000 car, wore nice clothes, and claimed to work as a financial consultant, or
I'm a
a
financial
life
consultant.
insurance salesman, or a consultant for the ATF, or ...
Wow.
He told people he designed guns. That was his job. He was a jack of all trades.
He was a jack.
basically.
He was a jack, all right.
And the whole thing with financial consultant is kind of funny because that's not a legal term. I mean, there's not, I could be a financial consultant,
You are,
right?
You are.
don't, yeah. I mean,
You're amazing with money. So anyway,
Lord knows that would be horrible if I was your financial consultant.
So Jennifer and Hank began a relationship in January of 2011, but Jennifer soon became uneasy with the man who had wormed his way into her life. She felt like he was smothering her, and even from the outside, it's easy to see why. Jennifer would ask for some space. In response, Hawes literally uprooted his life and moved into a home in Shandon, Columbia, 5 minutes from her. I need some space. Okay, I'm going to move down the street from you.
Right. And they've only dated, their entire relationship was like less than 6 months. So that's pretty scary, right? And according to Jennifer's friends, Hawes was relentless. Like he constantly tried to get in contact with her. He texted her. He called her. And so much to the extent that he was clearly obsessed with her. I mean, and Jennifer tried to establish boundaries, but he just kind of jumped over them and he would try to circumvent them in any way he could. Like she didn't want him in her home. And when he would ask if he could come over, he would say, when he wanted to stop by for a few minutes, I should say, she told him, like, no, just call me. We could talk on the phone. He thought he was showing her affection, maybe, or some people might think that's affection, but it was total possessiveness and it was fanaticism.
Yeah, and I'll
Right?
just say Shandon is a very established neighborhood here in Columbia, South Carolina. Like it's diverse, but it's also more one of the more approachable upscale neighborhoods. Very walkable, lots of trees. The homes are up on hills. The driveways are sometimes long. The lots are large. It's
Affordable on a podcaster salary, right?
Yeah.
I don't live in Shandon. I know people that live in Shandon. My daily life would have my regular job would have to get me into an apartment or a home in Shandon. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it's a very established neighborhood. The police presence from Forest Acres is in Columbia they're good. They have a very significant presence. You see them. That neighborhood is protected.
I'm going out on a limb here and say I bet he thought that would be more enticing to her.
Look at
make
him look better.
Look at my fancy house in this great neighborhood.
And my little black Range Rover, and I've got money, and But I mean, as Jennifer was pulling away, he was telling people that they were engaged, and he was calling her his fiance, and she didn't really want to be with him any longer. She didn't want him in her life.
Now, all of this, of course, is going to make Jennifer physically and mentally unwell. She's not feeling good. So she went to therapy in an attempt to reconcile what she was feeling and explore the possibility of ending this relationship and really how to do it. She was struggling to sleep and noticeably losing weight from stress. When she did try to break up with him, he would not leave her alone. She was trapped in this relationship, and it hadn't even lasted half a year. She admitted to a friend that she was terrified of him and what he might be capable of.
Terrifying.
No matter what she tried, he was relentless in pursuing her. And this is only after 6 months. He was determined that she was his property, regardless of what she said or did. Now, he considered them to be together. I'm glad he considered them to be together. In July of 2011, he even sent Jennifer a message saying that they should have a baby together.
Because that helps.
Yeah.
When relationships go south, babies always help.
Always fix it because they're so easy. It's like a puppy. So easy. Now, of course, this was something that he believed would trap Jennifer, which is, of course, what he wanted. And she responded that their relationship was far too stormy. It's a quote.
Nice word.
To bring up a child. At least of course she saw it, but.
That's pretty smart of her. So around this time, Jennifer received an email from a woman that she knew. This woman happens to be a girl's girl, by the way. And this woman claimed to have known Hawes, little Hank. And she warned Jennifer, stay far away from him. He's trouble.
Creepy.
He's dangerous, especially to women. He's very dangerous to women. So I think by this point, Jennifer was well aware of this, but Jennifer couldn't get Hawes away from her. Like, no matter what she did, he was around. And eventually Jennifer tried to send a clear message to him. I mean, as clear as she could. I mean, they were over and she was moving on, and he needed to let her move on because there's nothing he could do about it.
Yeah.
So then she started seeing other people, and one of the guys she went out with was a former boyfriend. And I think she went out with him the night this all happened. And when she did, she knew this was going to be problematic. She even told her friend that she knew this was a risk to do. And it's not really clear what she meant by risk, but I'm thinking that it was probably that this man, Hawes, was going to retaliate by her doing this.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we've all been in sort of a position like that, and you might know it's a little bad, but you have no way of knowing just how extreme the retaliation would be. In the early hours of August 28th, 2011, around 2 a.m., Jennifer's neighbor called police, reporting that they had heard someone crying out in distress. They thought that they heard somebody yelling, "No, no, no." And actually, they felt the house shake.
They lived in a duplex. She lived in a duplex. So they said there was like a heavy noise, maybe like furniture being thrown about or something like that.
Or somebody. Now, when police arrived on the scene, there was no sound and no signs of disturbance. They had no reason to force their way into Jennifer's home. so they left again. But Jennifer's neighbor didn't give up, thank goodness. And at 11:20 that same morning, another call came in. But this time, the caller told police he believed that a possible homicide had taken place next door. Now, it's not clear what changed between the calls, but this time, the police forced entry. And I'm guessing the change in police was a change of shift. It was new people on scene.
Yeah.
Because
That
I
makes
think
sense.
it was about 2:30 when this happened, and the police
The overnight
didn't get there
versus
until like
day shift, right?
8:15 in the morning. So
Yeah.
it was like a good 6 hours. And what greeted them was truly horrifying. I mean, the EMT that came to the case said that it was the worst scene he'd ever seen.
Oh.
So, yeah, the most harrowing crime scene he'd ever attended by he said that on the stand. He said when he walked in, there was blood that covered the walls, blood had pooled on the floor, and there was even spatter on the ceiling. I mean, it was a vicious attack.
Clearly, Jennifer was fighting for her life.
Right. And in the center of it, there was Jennifer, and she was laying on the couch, and she was under a white duvet. And the strange thing is although there was blood everywhere, she was fully clean. Like she had been bathed and her hair was washed.
Whoa.
Yeah. And now Jennifer had been stabbed to death. Like she had suffered over 20 stab wounds. Well, basically 12 stab wounds, multiple defense wounds, knife slashed instead of stabbing. And according to experts, her injuries were enough to have killed her like 6 times over.
Wow.
They were that bad. But she did have a lot of defensive wounds that showed that she had blunt force trauma. Yeah.
She even had a bite mark. I mean, that's anger, and I don't even know.
Yeah. And the pathologist said that there was if she only had one wound to her neck that would kill her, it would have only taken 2 minutes to bleed out.
Wow.
Which I hope for her,
that went
did
quickly.
happen. Yeah.
But she did fight. She put up a huge fight. And at the time of the death, Jennifer was only 36 years old. And I mean, she had already achieved so much at such a young age that the potential that she had to continue on with her life was immense. I mean, we missed out on what she could have achieved.
She still had so much left to go. I mean, marriage,
at
family,
35,
home.
36?
Yeah, a lot. So, of course, there's only one real suspect. Hank Hawes was witnessed and identified by a neighbor leaving Jennifer's house around 8:15 in the morning, shirtless and appearing disoriented. Some sources even state that Hawes had called a friend and told them about the murder and that he had related this to the police the same day. Police also noted that Hawes's car had been outside her home the first time that they went there. But I guess they didn't know what to look for. But it had gone by the car was gone by the time that they came back. Now, anyone who knew Jennifer would have known that the only person that could or would do this to her was Hank Hawes.
Well, even though they found his car, the house was quiet, right? The lights were off. The house was quiet. They didn't have a warrant to break in. They just had a complaint about noise, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing. So you can't really blame them for not doing anything. But
and I'm sure they get lots of calls and everything turns out fine. So, it is entirely possible that when police arrived at her house around 2:30, the reason they didn't hear or see any signs was because Jennifer was already gone. Hank Hawes was hiding in her home, tending to her body until he felt it was safe to leave. Now, him taking, Jennifer and I talked about this yesterday, I think. That is just beyond, I'm not quite sure I know the reasoning for that. Obviously, he feels guilty. Maybe he did care for her and didn't want her to be seen like that. So it's just bizarre. We haven't covered a lot of cases in which that's happened.
And when she was covered by the duvet, I don't know if her entire body was covered or if she was just
to make her look like she was resting. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. And then usually that is a sign of remorse, or that's a sign of somebody that loved the victim or cared about the victim and they're trying to make it better.
And
interesting.
The guilt. Yeah, the guilt.
So Hawes was picked up later that day. They found him in an emergency room of the Palmetto Health and Richland Hospital.
Yeah, it's one of our hospitals. I'm not going to say better hospitals. It's one of our hospitals.
Our hospitals. I got you.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah. He was seeking treatment because he had tried to commit suicide. So, and I was reading the case notes and they said something about he slashed himself with the knife and drained the blood in a cooler bag. I don't know. That's
all right.
Yeah. I don't whatever. Okay. Prosecutors would later accuse Hawes of superficially wounding himself to explain away the amount of blood that was on him when he went to the emergency room. When investigators searched his house, they found a bloody pair of blue jeans as well as 2 handguns, a Glock and a Ruger, along with silencers, magazines for both guns. Also noted in a report by the state, there was a satellite telephone, a large cache of prescription drug bottles for amphetamines and other uppers, several more guns, and thousands of bullets of varying sizes. That's a quote from the newspaper. Other reports suggest that Hawes had documents that made him appear to be employed at some law firm. And he also had a visa that would allow him to leave the country at a moment's notice.
So obviously he's a law officer here too,
Yeah.
as well as a financial consultant working for the ATF.
Oh, yeah, I said
et cetera,
law.
et cetera.
I said law firm, but it was actually law enforcement. Sorry, that was my mistake.
So a lot of what people knew him as, was any of it true or no?
Not to our
Faker.
knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a big, I don't know if he was what's called like a romantic scam artist, but we discussed it a little more in here, but
Interesting.
I would just, my 2 cents, I think with Jennifer being so accomplished, she's not going to date, somebody that works down at the community swimming pool. And he knew that. So he's trying to make himself feel better, even though.
But just to point that out, I think that Jennifer would have
Oh,
dated.
yeah. That's in his sick mind, though. See?
Right.
So that's why he's got 5 different careers going on.
Right.
well, let's be honest, most women would. You've got this accomplished man, right? He drives a nice car. He lives in a nice neighborhood. He's got to be safe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a great job. He's not going to do you any harm. He's not a
Mhm.
criminal. He's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So many of those things
On
just,
paper, he was a great.
Mhm.
but so many great things jump out as a red flag to me.
Well, she was less than 6 months in and she was seeing it, but I think
Yeah.
you never think,
I-
Jen and I have talked, you never think this is going to happen to you. It just doesn't,
Yeah.
you just don't think
Mm-mm.
that, but it does. So it was quickly, obviously, becoming evident that just how dangerous this man truly was. And as the investigation continued, the most surprising thing about Hawes was that he hadn't killed someone sooner.
Mhm.
And, this goes back to the girl's girl warning her to stay away. And that was just one. Who knows how many there truly were out there that he could have and would have murdered as well.
Mhm.
Now, he had only one conviction for violence. One's enough. For
One
domestic
conviction.
violence, one conviction, yeah.
Mhm.
For domestic violence and battery in Florida. But a trail of trauma followed him from every woman he'd ever had a relationship with. Not that they're saying that there's a sign, but 2 ex-wives, 3 ex-girlfriends, and even 2 of his own daughters testified in sworn statements experiencing physical abuse at his hands.
Wow.
Unreal.
Always, anyone using any sort of dating app, just pay for the background check.
Mhm.
Right?
I agree.
Get the background check.
If you're in Missouri, it's casenet.com. I use it often, let me tell you. So I think they weren't the only ones. His mother even testified to being scared and intimidated by him and his guns. But Hawes would show them off. That's what he did.
Mm.
Previous girlfriends would say the same thing. If you have anybody flashing a gun, but see, that goes with his whole persona, with the cars and the jewelry. And look, I'm going to buy this nice house right down the street from you.
Look
When
at
Jen and
how
I were
cool I am with a gun, right?
when we were talking about this yesterday, I'm like, this guy totally reminds me of Dirty John. And if you're a podcast listener or true crime, you know who that is. I mean, just pull the wool over your eyes. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yeah. Well, everything about him, the apparent wealth, the charm, the success, it was all a sham.
Mm-hmm.
Just a con artist, right? He wasn't registered in any official form of a financial consultant. His luxury SUV, that Range Rover, belonged to an ex-partner of his. And whatever money he did have came from loans from the women that he dated before. Like he would say, I mean, these loans he had no intention to pay back, but he'd say, oh, I don't know what to do. I can't afford my child support this month, or I'm losing so many hours of work. I can't, now I can't pay my rent or whatever, right? And these women would lend the money because they were
I wouldn't even
kind and
say
they
loan.
believed him.
He
Yeah.
knew what he was
Well,
doing.
But they thought he would pay them back. I mean,
Right.
and they thought, well, I'm sure he'd do that for me if I was in the same position, right? But all he ever did was care about himself. Like, he only wanted what he wanted. He didn't care about anybody else. I mean, he just wanted what he could personally benefit from.
Yeah.
So it was somewhat inevitable that someone would eventually see through this act and, leave him and tell him to leave, and, that he would snap, right? Like, he's already been in trouble for domestic violence. It's going to get worse. They always progress. And there was at least 12 different women in between Florida and South Carolina that had been victims of him psychologically, physically, and financially. He just abused them all.
Unbelievable.
It's just tragic that Jennifer was the one that had the bad luck that would eventually, and if it wouldn't have been her, it would have been another unsuspecting woman. He wouldn't have stopped.
But then we'd be telling the story about somebody else.
Right.
Or potentially multiples of someone else.
Right.
This guy reads based on all of the evidence, he reads like a potential serial murderer.
Oh, yeah.
Like
he was a true narcissistic sociopath, psychopath, for sure. I mean, textbook. You loan me money. I deserve it. You're not leaving me. I'm going to move down the street from you. Can't you see how great I am?
We need these life insurance policies, Fill this out for me. That's the next step, right?
Yeah.
Happens all the time. Okay, so from the time of his arrest, Hawes was being held without bond in the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center, awaiting for his eventual trial, which would begin in October of 2014, more than 3 years after Jennifer's death.
Swift justice.
Well,
3
but
years?
I found, too, this was in the September article of The State, September of 2014, and I'm going to read from it. What it says, Hawes might have been tried sooner, but the Fifth Circuit in Richland County was had an exceptionally crowded trial docket. And solicitor Dan Johnson said currently that his 36-lawyer office has some 80 pending murder cases, and which are often time-consuming to do, I can imagine. And said along with those 80, there's also an additional 8,000 other cases.
Yeah.
And he said, quote, "We get in over 120 cases a week, and there's no grass growing under our feet."
That is.
So they're a bit busy.
It appears that Hawes' defense team, no shock here, had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find something believable to actually defend this guy. But pretty much there wasn't anything to scrape up. The argument they finally settled on was that Jennifer's murder was you ready? Crime of passion. And that both parties were at fault for what happened on August 28th, 2011. They claimed these two people had a passion for each other, that they should have let it go and just should have moved on. But they can't. That was a quote. A bold stance to take, I would say, considering all the evidence was to the contrary. Jennifer told her friends that she was scared of him. Other women told Jennifer to be afraid of him. So I would say that they really were scraping the bottom of the barrel for that. And not to mention those text messages that were brought into court to prove that, she was scared and he was not a nice guy.
Yeah.
The public defender, Doug Strickler, even called the relationship along the lines of a Romeo and Juliet situation.
Except Romeo and Juliet were 15 years old.
Yeah. I read the trial things last night, and the story that he gave on trial was like, I spent the morning with Jennifer, and then she went to yoga class, and then she came back and she came over, and then at 2:00 I went home. I mean, like this whole
He
thing.
created a whole narrative.
Well, I'm assuming so, because if
just like his careers, his jobs.
Exactly. If everything that everybody is saying is correct, she wanted nothing to do with him, there's no way she would have had him over.
Right.
To the house. She didn't want him over. We've already established that she would say, no, just call me, right? She didn't want him at her house. So Hawes testified at trial, claiming that he must have killed Jennifer in self-defense. He told the court that he had gone to Jennifer's home to end things, like her life, but end the relationship. And that's when she attacked him. And he said he couldn't remember stabbing her, and she did threaten him with a knife, and she bit his finger. All this during the attack.
here's where you say, okay, then explain all the blood. I mean, and this wasn't just self-defense means that you're in fear of your life, and you're ending the threat. So why is there blood all over the walls, all over the floor, everywhere? How many stab wounds does it take to kill one small-framed woman? Not that many, you know? And that's so false.
It's a question I ask myself No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Write that down, Camille. Write that down. Put the time.
Just in case.
Mark that down. It's 9:26 on a Sunday morning, the 27th. Or 26th.
We knew it first. We called it.
Yeah, exactly.
We knew. I could tell by the eyes. Evil eyes.
I had friends when I told them that we were doing the other podcasters when we were doing this episode, they were like, you're not at all concerned that they're just going to out your story and then, implicate you. And I was like,
That's part of the plan, Barrett. It's part of the plan.
Call the cops and let's make sure we know where his cache of his
video
kill
proof
kit is.
See, video proof right there. Yeah,
kill kit.
His kill kit. Hey, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
No,
how many people have it.
I wouldn't because I listen to your podcast.
That's true. So he actually said he said this in court, quote, I just had to get her off of me and I saw blood everywhere. Of course he did. He strangled or stabbed her 20 times. She even had trauma on the back of her head where her skull was cracked. They thought it was blunt force trauma. 3 times. He hit her 3 times. He tried to allege that Jennifer abused drugs and that's what made her violent. But the toxicology report proved different, like the one that came with the and she had no history with drugs. So that was a total lie. And then he had claimed at one point that his ADHD medicine caused a psychotic episode. And
that is insulting to every single person that has ADHD.
But I got to tell you, I looked this up to see if that's even possible. And it is possible. But you have to have a really high prescription, and it's got to be the strong ones, Adderall, Vyvanse. There's another one. Do you remember?
Ritalin. I don't know.
I know it has to be a very high dose, but it's rare that it causes this.
Plus, unless you have to have that underlying thing. You know what I mean?
Genetics.
You are a killer. That is just an excuse.
Well, psychosis. The psychosis can happen if you could have a family history of it.
That's what I'm saying. It's not, that just doesn't.
There has to be a foundation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But once you stop taking the medicine, you're fine. But that's not what happened. I mean, he did have the amphetamines. Right? I mean, he did have, because that's what it is. I'm sorry. If you take the high dosage and then take the high dosage of the ADHD drug and amphetamines, it can cause psychosis.
Well, those are speed, basically.
Right.
The Vyvanse and stuff. Yeah.
Right. But that's not what happened.
Doing it.
That's just an excuse.
It is an excuse. Exactly.
It didn't give him superpowers.
No.
He's
he
super
wishes.
Loser powers. Yeah. Now, another thing, this would be me. I know it would be, but an event happened during the trial, and that is that one of Jennifer's ex-boyfriends. This is how loved she was, right? Like an ex-boyfriend named Matt Cronin comes to court. He gets so upset by all of this, by Hank Hawes' claims that all this happened.
Lying
he kind of lunged at him. He flipped out. He attempted to actually go after Hank and get him. He was led away, of course, because they have the bailiff and stuff in there, and he got arrested for contempt of court. But I mean, come on. Matt faced a possible 6-month sentence himself for these actions. But, I got to tell you, he spent a weekend in jail, and to me, that'd be worth it.
It feels validated.
I would totally, yeah. And
I'm
those bailiffs, don't you think that they kind of go like this? And just kind of maybe let a little attack happen,
I mean, there's cases where the family is so upset that they've killed the defendant. Yeah.
They go after him.
So
I can't blame them because
me neither.
And not to say that everyone isn't due their due process. I fully believe in the investigative process and then the justice process. But sometimes the evidence is so overwhelmingly obvious, and then the impact of neglectful law enforcement and justice system is also so obvious that sometimes people feel as though the only way to apply any sort of justice is through vigilantism. And I'm not for that, but I also can't say that I wouldn't be I wouldn't turn a blind eye to it in some cases.
We've talked on the podcast because we've done a ton of death penalty cases, and I still struggle with it. But I've always said on there, I have 2 kids, and I would have a really hard time knowing that person is breathing the air that my child can't breathe because you took it from them. It would eat me alive. I know me. Like I'm a grudge holder. I don't know if you know that. Jen knows.
So am I.
I think and especially I'm old. What do I have to lose? I would spend every day of my life making that person's life.
We're talking grudge where it's the slightest inconvenience with us that we hold a grudge.
Yeah.
A slight eye roll or anything, then we're...
How often do you get irritated when people don't return the carts to the at the Target or the grocery store?
It doesn't bother me. That's not a big deal.
It does me. I hop out and I'm like, oh, I got that. I got it. I'll take it.
I'm more like Cam.
Yeah, no, that doesn't bother me because I remember when my kids were little and I had a runner and it was hard. I can't leave them, right?
Sure.
So I would just like put the cart away safely, not in the parking space. I would like put it up on a
You're
ramp
one of
or
those
something.
people.
I'm not anymore. But
that's
when
a circumstance.
I mean, yeah, like I had the runner. I was putting my one child in the car and the other one took off for the highway, right? So that I had somebody stop the car on the highway to get my child. That's how bad it was. Now, Hank Hawes, he wasn't so lucky. Not as lucky as Matt. Matt only got a weekend. Hawes went to trial, and after 8 days of being in court, the jury went to deliberate, and it took them 30 minutes.
Good.
That's all. And they found him guilty of murder, and it was unanimous. Like every single juror agreed. And then later he was sentenced to life in prison without ever seeing the outside ever again. So, and apparently, I guess he never had any family or friends come to speak for him at trial either.
Yeah, and you know that 30 minutes was like, yeah. Okay, Bob, you need a coffee? Okay, we got to kill a little time here, so it looks like we we're
going on vacation. We're going to Disney World.
Have you all ever been on a criminal jury trial? A jury?
No,
I have.
I was an alternate.
So I can tell you,
it
takes about 25 or 30 minutes just to get us from the courtroom to the jury deliberation room, and usually in that time period, it's do you want water? Do you want soda? Do you need a snack? Whatever. They try to prep you for that time. I can tell you, if they turned it around in 30 minutes, it was in the hallway.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't even sit down.
No.
Yeah, they're just like, who vote? Yeah, I was on one jury once, and I was an alternate, and I didn't even get to voice my opinion, and I love to voice my opinion, and I was like, so it's like I spent 3 days sitting in a hard chair, and I didn't even get my say. I was not happy. And that was the last time I've been on a trial.
Yeah.
Jennifer's family and loved ones, they were satisfied with the result. But what does that do, right? They lost their daughter. They lost their friend. It doesn't, there was still a hole left in their lives because Jennifer was gone. And one colleague spoke of her death as, quote, an unspeakable loss. And it truly seems to reflect the feelings of everybody that knew Jennifer. I mean, you can feel it here with just her and what you've said too. Like you've met her a few times and you loved her, right? So
yeah, I think she was. Again, we only had a few interactions, but it was enough that it left an impression. This was a person who was an advocate for humanity. Like, never could I imagine her saying a cross word about anyone. I couldn't imagine a situation where she would gossip or have ill thoughts about someone without reason. But she was just extremely kind, and I think the world would be a better place if she were still here.
I was just going to say, if we all aspired to be like Jennifer Wilson, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
To be more kind and generous with your time and your everything.
I wish I had half the energy she had, right? I mean,
20 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 35 years old and she's skiing, she's taking yoga classes, she's a Fulbright scholar, she's traveling the world, she's feeding kids. I mean, I'm lucky I get off the couch on a Sunday.
In her defense, though, single income, no kids. And that's,
a great job too. But she earned that job,
Oh, 100%. 100%.
She worked her butt off.
Yeah.
I absolutely appreciate you guys telling the story. I appreciate you all coming on the show. Absolutely an intense story. And I don't know how you all do this week after week.
It's hard. It does get to you after a while. And Camille still watches crime shows. Like, I can't even do that. I need to watch like happy, fun things. What all do you watch, Camille? Prison shows?
Everything. It's
like
true.
Camille loves life in prison documentaries.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm watching one right now. The dad's going in to help save the son. That's another story.
Semi-related. I also like watching the videos of inmates that are getting out soon that are asking for dates.
Right.
Asking people to connect them. You ever see those? Entertaining.
I belong to a website. Thank you very much. Just not for dating, but I just kind of think
Jeffrey
it's funny.
Dahmer.
And they're all, let me tell you, they're all misunderstood. They're not supposed to be there.
Well,
I have a heart of gold. And just so you know, my tattoo is the heart on my heart, right?
Yeah.
Well, per Shawshank, there's no, everybody's in there. Yeah. Everybody that's in prison is innocent, right?
It's just unfortunate miscommunication.
Well, before we stop with the Jennifer thing, I just want to add, if there's one thing that people say good that came out of Jennifer's death, was that people learned that domestic violence is just not for the poor, I should say, the socioeconomic status, right? It can hurt everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, granted, most of the time it is economically. And I wrote some stats down here, and it's mostly, and the number one reason is finances.
Yeah.
And I do believe October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So this was, just, it's good to bring this out in the open, to be educated. And there's always help. You just have to know where to call and get help.
Yep. And 1 in 4 women experience physical abuse by their partner, ages 16 to 24, and 1 in 7 men, this affects men too, are physically abused by an intimate partner.
I believe
teens also, but teens are mostly done the abuse by cell phone.
Wow.
So communication.
And I think that it needs to be at least acknowledged as well that it's not always physical. The amount of mental abuse that goes on and
financial abuse, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Unreported too. So, it's one of those things, everyone stand up for your rights. And if you suspect something, then, it doesn't hurt to fear and at least be more observant. It's, yeah.
Well, there's a quote here by Nancy Barton, who is a domestic violence advocate, and she's a director of a nonprofit shelter called Sister Care. And she said, quote, that one horrific homicide probably did more to enlighten our community than years and years of work by advocates to help the community understand how virtually anyone can be vulnerable in an intimate partner relationship.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you both.
Well, thanks for having us on.
Barrett.
Bringing this.
And your friend, where's your friend today?
Zach is, okay. So Zach, sometimes when we have guests of a certain nature, the court order is that he is not allowed to be within audible distance.
Shame on you, Zach.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to call him Slack because, he's not here. Barrett and Slack.
That's great.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to have to change the logo.
Slack, yeah.
He shows up when he wants to, whatever.
Well, everyone listening, you all can find our True Crime podcast wherever you get podcasts. You can follow them online on the social medias at Our True Crime Pod. Also, you all have your 12 Nightmares of Christmas. You all are doing that again this year?
Yep.
This will be the 8th year?
When you all do that, do you all plan this out or is December just a mad rush?
We have to have everything recorded by Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So starting this week? Yeah.
That was not the first case. The first year, there was lots of tears. Actually, I think it was our first inaugural one. There's one where we lose it and we're laughing so hard because we had been recording for like 9 hours.
We decided at Thanksgiving, when we first started, we had these big things. At Thanksgiving, we did Murderous Melodies where we got on and we sang songs, murder ballads.
Do not recommend.
And do you know this one?
Don't listen.
And then we would sing a little bit, and then we would describe what the song was actually about, right?
Yeah.
So
Like nursery rhymes and things like that?
Well, yeah. It was songs that like Polly by Nirvana was about
okay,
a real,
okay.
I don't
a real
like
case.
Mondays.
Yeah.
Tell me why I don't like. But Boomtown Rats about the girl shooting up the school.
Right.
And we sang back and forth, and that fell flat. Nobody liked our singing.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, what kind of fun things can we do
Murder
for
music.
Christmas, right? Our singing also. So what can we do for music? Or what can we do for Christmas? We need to do something fun. And my oldest daughter, who was 13 at the time, I
don't
think.
even think she was
12
that
or
old.
13,
Yeah, she was
something like
young.
that. She's like, why don't you do some kind of advent calendar, like the 12 nightmares before Christmas or 12 murders before Christmas? And we're like, that's a good idea. So basically what it is it's the first day there's one murder, the second day there's 2 murders, the third day, and then all the way to 12. And you would think that we'd run out of things.
Nope.
But we don't. But actually, 10 is kind of hard to find. 10 is like a weird one that it's kind of hard to find 10 victims. But yeah, she decided
That
this.
seems really like not cool, but we do.
It's, yeah.
We present it. I mean, the whole gist is that you're busy, you're shopping, you're cooking, you're cleaning, and this is something to kind of help you get through.
Yeah. You put us on and it started that we were going to do like little snippets. And when we decided this was right after Thanksgiving, and it's the 12 nightmares before Christmas. We had to get everything done by the 13th of December. So that gave us 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we had to write 12 scripts. We had to record 12 episodes. We had to cry as we
terrible.
edited 12 episodes.
Awful.
And so, but now we've got Nico to keep us in line. And he's like, listen, because he's got to do everything, right? So
Yeah.
he's like, listen, you've got to, we need these by Thanksgiving. So this week we're starting to record all of them.
Nothing makes me feel better about my time at Christmas with family than listening to murder podcasts.
Well,
how bad could this be?
right?
Well,
At one thing, we were always saying, people, it's stressful time of the year, blah, 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 blah. And then we mentioned something, let us do the murder for you. So, because having people over is very stressful. Mother-in-laws,
I think what you all do is outstanding, and I appreciate you bringing to light the story of Jennifer Wilson. Because for people here in Columbia that knew her or knew of her, there's it's a large group. She had a lot of friends, and
I can only imagine
the impact that she had at the University of South Carolina. It wasn't that long ago. We're talking 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So. Sincerely appreciate it.
Well,
really,
thanks for
really
having us.
appreciate
We
it.
appreciate it.
Again, Jen
Slack.
and Cam and Slack.
And Slack.
Jen and Cam.
R.I.P. Slack.
Our true crime podcast. Again, follow them everywhere you listen to podcasts. Leave reviews.
Nice ones.
Cam's going to read them, and then we'll relay the nice ones to Jen.
Yeah.
Thank you both. This is episode number 281. Thank you very much for listening. Links to all of our past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, and social media are available on our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. And if you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothinger and support the show? Members get early access to this episode as well as exclusive content. You can visit members.theallaboutnothing.com, or you can find a link on our webpage. You can also give a one-time donation through the same link. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533, or you can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com, or you can join our Discord server, links found on our webpage. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button, whatever. Everyone stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.
The All About Nothing podcast is a product of Big Media and produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow Everything Cake the band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the producer. You can follow me across social media by visiting Linktree/Barrett Gruber. And you can follow Zach King on Linktree/AAN Zach. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. To find links to our social media, podcast platforms, and merchandise to support the show, as well as past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can email theshow@theallaboutnothing.com, or you can call our number and leave a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our sister shows. What the Pod Was That with Carrie, Zach, and myself. Welcome to Wonderland with Ami. Politically Speaking with Erica, Kirsten, and Emily. And Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks and Bill Kimmler. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and punch that notification bell. Thank you for listening, and hear us next week. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media, LLC, and is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
Hey, y'all, it's Barrett from the All About Nothing podcast. Winter's coming, but that doesn't mean you've got to slow down.
Nope, because Everplay Sports and Social has their winter leagues open for registration right now.
That's right. Starting Sundays, you can get in on softball at TS Martin Park.
Mondays are packed. You've got pickleball at the Casey Pickleball Complex, softball again at TS Martin Park, indoor volleyball at the Tri-City Leisure Center, and turf soccer at the Recreation Athletics.
Tuesdays, that's when it really heats up. You can play Super Rec kickball at M Avenue Park, sand volleyball at Pollywogs, indoor volleyball at Tri-City Leisure Center, and bowling at Lucky Strike in Casey.
Wednesdays are loaded too. Soccer at B Avenue Park and Bray Park Field, hardball softball at TS Martin Park, dodgeball at Drew Wellness Center, and of course, kickball at M Avenue Park.
And wrapping up the week on Thursdays, you've got even more kickball at M Avenue Park and B Avenue Park.
So whether you're into kicking, spiking, bowling, or just hanging out, there's something for everyone.
Almost forgot. Special one-night events.
Monday, November 10th, mix and match turf soccer at Recreation.
Pick up basketball Monday, November 17th at Drew Wellness Center.
And mix and match indoor volleyball at Tri-City Leisure Center, Tuesday, November 18th.
Registration for Everplay's Winter Leagues is open now, but you have to sign up before November 16th.
Do not wait. Teams fill up fast.
Go to everplaysocial.com. That's everplaysocial.com to join a league, meet new people, and make this winter one to remember.
So, dodgeball or bowling?
I'm thinking both. Got to balance the cardio and the nachos. Everplay Sports and Social. Play more, hang out more, live more.